Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Arden Studios and welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, guys, I'm going to be going over the best character in anime dimensions. This is a brand new anime kind of dungeons game and it is really fun. So I decided to make a video on it compared to my usual content. This video will probably have a different audience, so I'm not going to really talk too much like you guys are the usual audience I have. But yeah, anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the best character to use in anime fighters. And if you guys enjoyed today's video or you just want to consider doing it, please leave a like or subscribe because our channel is going to continue growing and we're on our way to 1,100 subscribers. With that being said, sorry for the long intro, let me get into the video. Now, I did say I was going to market the best character in anime fighters, but more importantly, I'm going to market what, in my opinion, is the best 1600 gem, basically character you can use. Now, I'm not sure if any of the cheaper characters are actually better, but I'm just going to make the assumption the 1600s are the best characters in the game, and after doing a lot of testing with all 6 of them, I've made my own decisions on which one I think might be the best, but you guys are going to see there's not really a best one. I'll explain it. But basically, if you guys want to test this yourself, you're going to want to go over to the character testing place. You'll get access to every character here. Now, let's go. Okay, guys, so we're here now at the testing area, and if you guys click characters right here, we can use every character in the game. Now, basically, from my experience with all of these characters, I've come to the conclusion that I don't think that, I'm just gonna call them by their in-game names because I'm not sure about all the animes. I don't think Zetsu is gonna actually be that good of a 1600 gem tower. Now, Flash is okay, 200 damage is pretty good, 6-fold, the damage is kinda low, honestly, for, a 2 move, and then Kiwami, if we use that right now, it did good damage, but I just don't think it's up to par with some of the other characters, so I'm gonna rank Zetsu kind of low. Now, we have Kototoki, and, this character right here, which is Todoroki, they are also in the list of characters where I didn't think they were gonna be necessarily worth getting. Now, they're just good, I mean, they're good towers, or good characters, but they're just not the best, so, like, as you guys can see, let's do Ice Wall. The damage was kinda low, that's honestly, like, very similar to the damage from Asta. Let's use Fire Fist. It's okay. Like, it's definitely good, but the AoE could be better compared to some towers. And then, you have 7,652 here. Let's see. Yeah, even, this fire move. This move is actually pretty good, but it only does around 600 AoE. I'm not going to be going into specials ones, because quite frankly, I don't really care about the specials too much. I think that the character's skill should mainly be decided by their first 3 moves, so I won't be talking about them too much. And then the last character I had to kind of narrow down for this video is going to be Alturia. Now, again, sorry, I don't know all these animes, so I'm gonna have to go by their names in game. But these guys are they're okay. Now, let me show you guys the damage right now. They're also just kind of a cool tower. I mean, all of the 1600 gems are actually pretty similar in power. But let's see here, you have 6,803. That slash is gonna do a good amount of damage, but I think that might have been a crit. But let's see here, like, Flying Slice. They're very, very similar moveset-wise to Asa. So, let's see what Mana Burst does right here. That does okay damage, that was actually pretty high, but overall, I have to be honest with you, I don't think their first 3 moves are that good either. Again, they're all pretty similar, but this was just from my preference. Now, please comment down below if you guys actually know any good things about these characters that I completely missed, because to be honest, they actually could be a lot better than I initially took them for. But I'm just gonna have to say that I don't think that Alturia, Kototoki, or Zetsu are gonna be up there. Now, this is where we get to the next 3. We have Gojo, Megumin, and Rimuru. And to be completely honest with you, I'm still stuck on which one of these is the best. They're all really good in their own ways. Now, Gojo, what I like about Gojo is just his moveset kind of spams. You can just, like, because of how long Curtain lasts, by the time your Curtain even ends, you're gonna be able to do a moveset again. And Gojo's damage is pretty decent. In fact, these 3 all have very similar damage. All of their moves, like, if you use all 3 of their moves, you're gonna notice that they do all roughly the same amount of damage. But the thing is, at that point, you kind of have to stop worrying about damage and take into account other factors. And this is where I might have to drop Gojo. Now, the reason why is because, let me swap over to Mega Man here. They all do roughly the same damage, but Gojo's AoE just isn't big enough. In fact, if I swap to Gojo right now, you're gonna see here, like, blue, that really doesn't cover much of an area. And then when you compare that to moves like Black Lightning from Rimura, like this, like that covers a lot more of an area than blue. And then Mega Man's move is also a pretty big area, and Mega Man's first move is actually like a shot that then explodes, which can be better for grinding. So, Gojo's first move AoE is kind of meh. Then you have to take into account the second move. Red is pretty good, it covers a good amount. And in comparison to, for, say, Gluttony, that's probably, honestly, the same. And then Mega Man's, Flame Beam, they're all pretty similar. I think Red, all of these guys have very similar second moves. And then finally, let's take into account the third move, which is going to be for Rimura, Flare. Now, Flare is basically like Red, but a more powerful version. Then you have Gojo's move, which is Curtain. Now, this is my issue with Gojo. The thing about moves like Curtain is they're great, but when you're trying to dodge enemies, I feel like Curtain just won't land the hits. Now, if you land every single hit with Curtain, you're actually going to notice that it does actually do a good amount of damage. It's just, the problem with Curtain is the fact that it just doesn't land all the time. For if you're fighting a boss or something and you have to dodge away from an attack, Curtain's going to become kind of useless, like you're going to be all the way over here. And so, just because of that with Curtain, if I'm being completely honest, that might be the turning point on Gojo. Now, again, Curtain does slightly more damage. I think it can do up to 100 to 200 more damage, just because the more chances you get to attack, the more crits you're going to be hitting. But then when you have to compare it to somebody like Mega Man's third move, Flame Tornado, you can just quickly do and run, and then you're gonna have Rimura, and in this case, you can literally just stand as far back as you need to, shoot out Flare, and you can take out enemies just like that. Now, I know I just went on a big rant, but long story short, it does feel like all three of these guys are really similar. They're all really good characters. And to be honest, I feel like at that point, you might as well just choose the one that you think is the coolest and not even worry about going much deeper into skill. Because quite frankly, they are so close. You're probably going to have the same experience with all of them. But I wanted to go a little further, and I've made a decision on who I believe is the best character. Now, I decided to make my final decision strictly on grinding and quickly doing dungeons. Now, obviously, if you were making this decision and you were talking about maybe the time challenge, for example, I might have a completely different opinion. In fact, for time trial, Mega Man could probably be better, or even Gojo at that point because of Curtain. Time trial is a completely different story. But in terms of talking about grinding, I think that, in my personal opinion, Rimuru is going to be the best character. Now, the reason why I'm going to be saying this is because currently the last dungeon in the game is going to be the last Demon Slayer dungeon. And with this way the dungeon is set up, you really want to have a lot of AoE because of how long and big the dungeon is. And if I'm being completely honest, I think Rimura is just the best for this. And I know I said I wouldn't get into this, but mainly for two reasons. One, Rimura's special is just, it decimates everything on the map. If you place yourself in the right position, her special will literally gain you so many combos. Like, look how many enemies I'm hitting right now. I just got a 300 combo. And her special also still does decent damage. It doesn't do the most damage in the world compared to some of the specials, but if you have the good enough cards and the high enough level to literally one-tap the enemies, when you use their special, you can instantly complete a room just like that. Now, with Gojo's special and Mega Man's special, you can also do a good amount of damage, but it's just not gonna have the same AoE. And I know I said I wouldn't do only specials, but on top of that, you can use Flare to just quickly take out a group of enemies, and then Black Lightning and Gluttony are both gonna be moves you can combo back to back to take out groups as well. And I just think that Rimuru is gonna be having the best setup. Mega Man, I was also kind of stuck on, but I feel like Flame Beam, it just might not be as good, and Flame Tornado is great, but I do actually think I like the mobility of Flare and being able to shoot it. Gojo, I'm gonna have to drop because Curtain might not land all the time, and Blue has a pretty low AoE compared to the other two. So between Rimuru and Mega Man, I'm gonna say for my preference, Rimuru is gonna be slightly better. Though, to be completely honest, I honestly think that Mega Man is also probably just equally as good, and it's really up to you. Now, if you already got Gojo, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. Gojo still does a pretty good amount of damage, if I'm being completely honest. He actually can do more damage than the other two that we've mentioned, except you just need to make sure you're hitting all those attacks. So if you're Gojo main, I do recommend really make sure your curtain is landing, and more importantly, Gojo is really comboable. You can do back-to-back moves, so to be honest, if you're trying to take out bosses, for example, Gojo can be a really good unit. So yeah, Gojo, don't feel bad if you got them. Now, in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend getting any of the other three, Todoroki, Zetsu, or Ulturia, but I will be saying that if you do have one of them, tell me how they are, because to be honest, I don't want to rank them too low. I just didn't put them in the top 3 from experience. In conclusion, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really actually did put a lot of time into this video, and I know it probably won't do amazing, but I still do appreciate the support on the channel. And that is gonna be it. Now, to be honest, all of the 1600s are really good. I just did this based off my personal experience and my personal preference. So yeah, to be honest, if you've already gotten pretty much any of them, I wouldn't be too mad about it. They're all really, really solid units. This was just what I kind of believed, and everyone has their own opinion. So definitely, guys, remember, you can honestly figure out what the actual best 1600 is, and since I haven't used any of these really in the actual game, I honestly am not the best person to give you advice. But with that being said, that is going to end it off for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Peace.